So, welcome back to another episode of For the Ages, where we talk about all things golf and golf history. Super pumped today. We've got a unique guest that's joining us, and this is going to be a first for us. A little bit of a different topic, but somebody who I've actually been following for quite some time on Instagram. You may have seen her stuff floating around. Um, Her page, we'll link it in the episode and everything else. But our guest today is Ally Aiken.
Hello.
Welcome, Ally.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of
Of
course, of
course.
course. So, real quick, just to plug your Instagram,
Yeah.
it's Ally Aiken
Yes,
Design?
Ally Aiken Design, singular design, not designs.
Design,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the things.
Cool, cool. Well, I guess to kick things off, if you would mind, just kind of like give us an intro on yourself, your artistic journey, like when did you get into art
Yeah.
and just kind of how did that evolve to golf too?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, my art journey kind of started in maybe 2018, 2017. I just kind of picked up watercolor as a fun hobby on the side, making cards and things for friends. My sister bought me a set for Christmas one year, and so I kind of just started playing around with it. And it was just a fun little side hobby that I had. And then in 2020, so to back up a little bit, my husband, Campbell, worked at a golf course after we graduated college. He worked in New Zealand. He also worked in Maine as an assistant golf pro. So he kind of like had some time to kill before his full-time job started. So he was like, I would love to work in golf in these 8 months that I have. So when he got back, he wanted to kind of commemorate his time in golf. And so I painted some maps of the courses for him to, hang in his room or his office or wherever he wanted to. So that was back in middle of 2020. And then once I had those first two maps painted, which was Royal Wellington in New Zealand and Sunday River in Maine,
Wow.
um, his a few of his friends were like, "Oh, I want a course, UT Golf Club or Lions or Memorial Park, wherever they were all kind of playing." So I painted a few more, and then 10 days before Christmas in 2020, I posted probably 6 or 7 of them on my personal Instagram, just saying, I've been working on these. They'd be a fun Christmas gift if anybody wants them. I can print it out for you and give it to you or whatever. And it really took off. In those 10 days before Christmas, I painted probably 40 new ones and then printed over 100 just for like friends and family that were asking for them. On Christmas Eve, my family, we drove around after we had dinner and dropped off a bunch on people's
No
doorsteps
way.
at Houston and stuff. They were very supportive. It was kind of a lot.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's so exciting and it's snowballing so fast that you're like saying yes, and you don't realize, oh wait, actually said yes to a lot more than I can really handle.
Right.
So it kind of took off from there, and that is really how my watercolor evolved into a really specific niche, which is golf.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't have any artistic background before this?
No.
Didn't
No,
didn't
I mean,
like
other than like hobby and
yeah.
growing up in a very like crafty DIY type family, I would say like my mom and sister are both very crafty and stuff like that too. So I've been like exposed to more of like the DIY side of art, but fine art wise, I really just figured my way into it
Yeah.
with a lot of, practice. And also when someone asks me if I can do something, especially 5 years ago, I was always like, let me figure it out. I'll try.
Yeah.
So kind of helped me figure it out along the way.
How many attempts did it take to get the final two
Yeah,
for your husband?
that's a great question. Especially because Campbell is a big golfer. Also, I now appreciate and love golf and have gotten into golf, but then I did not have a great understanding of golf. And so I didn't realize, each bunker's positioning, each tee box, the size, the shape was really important. And
Mm-hmm.
so my first draft is definitely a lot different than the 5-hole draft because he luckily and unluckily was very nitpicky with, how everything was laid out and that it was all in the right place and the spacing was right. So I don't know how many drafts exactly there were, but it was some work for me to make sure that it was all really precise, which is good because since it snowballed so quickly, I kind of already had a system in place on how I was making them. So it was helpful.
Yeah.
I know it was hard.
Well, he kind of helped you develop a little bit of an eye for
Definitely. Yeah.
bunker placements and sizes and
I
tee
call it
boxes.
my quality control.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you
exactly.
go.
Over my shoulder, make sure they're accurate.
Love that.
So Chase and I were talking last night, and when we were talking about just like golf and art and how the two are connected, um, it's very subjective, right? Art is very subjective. Like for me, whenever I think of art, I'm not like a true artist. I used to draw a little bit and things like that, and that was just fun because I was bored in class or whatever else. But when I think of art in golf personally, I think of like shaping certain golf shots on holes. And like one of the things that I was mentioning to Chase last night was for me, one of the more fulfilling things is when I can stand behind the ball and visualize like the shot that I want to hit. And when I can execute that, that's like the most fulfilling thing for me.
Yeah, totally.
So kind of like using like your game as a form of art, which I know it's a little bit subjective, but I guess for you now that you've gotten into golf, how do you feel like that's kind of changed your relationship with the work that you've been doing?
Yeah, I do feel like, especially because I've gotten to see a lot more golf courses now too. It's great for Campbell now that I'm more interested in golf because when we'll travel, we'll go to different courses and stuff like that. And I like have a genuine interest in seeing them and seeing a course in person, whether it's playing it or just walking it or whatever it may be. I feel like it makes my attention to detail whenever I'm painting a new course. I have a much better eye for it now because of the golf that I've gotten to experience. And like even like my game that I'm working on, it does it makes me more appreciative of the actual architecture of the golf course because it's like you don't understand necessarily the challenges and things that are created like by the golf architects, whether it's the dog leg of the hole or where the bunker is placed or whatever. And so now whenever I'm painting it, I have more of like an attention to detail for those things, if that makes sense. And it's like I can look at a course and be like, oh, that one's super long, or that one has a lot of water, or stuff like that that I probably wouldn't have noticed before I started, painting the courses and dabbling in golf. So it's a variety of things for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the architect side of things too, because we were talking about that last night. Because golf course architects are artists in a sense, because they're looking at surveys and topography, and they're just like really designing this course from nothing.
Yeah.
And obviously, like the idea is to hopefully use as much of the natural contours and landscape as possible, but they do have to get creative. They got to move dirt, and that is like a very visual process.
Totally.
But I guess kind of in line with that, with the process, like walk us through what your process is whenever you have a project and a course that you want to start on. Like, do you visit the course in person if it's, within a reasonable distance? Do you use things like Google Earth or pictures from the websites? Like, what is your process in developing these?
That's a great question. And in an ideal world, I of course would go to every course and see it before I paint it. But that would mean that I've been to Pebble Beach and all St. Andrews, all the courses, which I unfortunately have not been.
We can make that happen at some point, right? I mean,
that would be amazing. So in the meantime, before I see all of those courses, I actually use Google Earth the most for all of the kind of aerial view of the map, and the layout of the course. And even like spacing wise, if you look at two courses side by side, a lot of them, like the fairways are a lot wider or really narrow or whatever. And so Google Earth really helps me kind of get the spacing for all the holes. And then I'll paint it, the aerial view, and then I use the app 18 Birdies to make sure the tee boxes and bunkers are situated just right. That's where I can really double check that, it is this many yards from the green or right up next to the green or wherever this bunker may be. And so 18 Birdies has been really great, and they have really up-to-date versions of all the courses, of course, because people are using it to log their rounds. Whereas something like Google Earth, if a course was under construction, in the past year or two, it may not be up to date yet. So I kind of depend on 18 birdies as my last final check before I finish a painting.
Shout out 18 birdies.
Yeah, shout out. Lots of hours spent on 18 birdies in my app, usage on my phone.
Yeah. Well, that's like your first quality control before it gets to your husband, right? So you've learned the hard way of I'm gonna do the rough draft and get that good.
Perfect.
Yeah. By the time it gets to Campbell, then it's at least gonna pass the sniff test.
Exactly.
So that's good.
I am curious to get your thoughts. Like, I think a lot of golfers look at art in golf in a few different, variables, right? Like some people will see art in golf as fashion, right? We've done an episode on golf fashion and kind of the changes of apparel over the years. Some people like it's about shoes or art on their wedges, right? How do you see kind of your approach to art potentially evolving over time? Have you thought about expanding to maybe players, older or even current day players? Like, have you given any thought to that?
So kind of like how my work will evolve over time.
Yeah.
I think there's honestly a few ways that I hope for my work to evolve because of course I'm so happy with where it is now, but you're always kind of thinking, what's the next thing? What's the next step? And it kind of loops into some fun projects that I have coming up. Like for instance, a mural of a painting of a golf course. I'm doing that soon next month, where it's a really large scale version of what my normal watercolor work is. So obviously it's evolving because it's a lot bigger, and then also it's a different type of paint than what I normally use. So it's a good challenge for me, like as an artist. And then also another like area that I'm interested in. So for my day job, my full-time job, I work really closely in kind of the fashion realm, kind of the influencer space. And I would love for some of my artwork and like design to really like evolve into more apparel too.
Yeah.
I feel like I see so many cool, honestly, not so many, but some cool graphic tees and things like that are more like golf centric without necessarily being outfits for the golf course.
Yeah.
Which of course just goes hand in hand with golf becoming more popular and more trendy. But I would love for like my artwork to be a part of that too.
Yeah.
I think it would work really well. In my mind it does. So just need to make it happen.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a lifestyle branding play now. Like for me, I know like 80% of my closet is golf stuff, and both my wife and Chase give me a hard time. They're like, can you please go shopping somewhere else that's not a golf course pro shop or online at Peter Millar?
I saw him in a button down once and I was like, dude, you got to buy another one, man.
Yeah. But I think that is something like for somebody like me who's a golf addict, like I like to, like, it's just kind of part of who I am. So if I have stuff that's designed, and as you kind of adjusted what you were saying with there were a lot, but then like some, because like, a lot of people are kind of trying to do this right now, but I don't feel like there's that many that are really successful. I mean, Malbon has been super top of mind the last couple of years because their brand has just kind of taken off. And a lot of other brands are trying to keep up with that now, which is interesting. And you see like even like Adidas coming out with new like retro fits and things like that.
More like streetwear golf.
Exactly.
Of course.
Golf. Like what can I wear whenever I'm not at the course? Which I think is also cool. And also too, a lot of courses like Lake Cliff, which we'll get to here in a bit, like they are more casual. Like they're not the buttoned up country clubs where you have to tuck in your shirt and you have to wear certain things. Like in theory, you could show up in a t-shirt and some shorts.
And same with all the muni courses and stuff. Like, of course, you don't have as strict of a dress code there either. So I feel like muni course really goes hand in hand with beginner golfers and people who are starting to get into golf. And so it's like you're excited, you want to buy golf things. And so if you find that like golf streetwear or golf clothing that isn't necessarily like country club, it fits really well with the new golfer because they can wear it to the muni courses and stuff like that. And, more people who have golfed for longer too, not just beginners.
It's so funny. You were talking about Charlie earlier, who won the what was it,
The
the
club
The
championship.
the
club
club
championship.
championship? Last time we golfed with him, I thought he was going to the beach.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was wearing, like a button-down, short sleeve shirt. I feel like he showed up in sandals. I don't know.
He probably just gave that impression.
Oh, okay.
He definitely had golf
But it
shoes.
definitely looked like
Yeah.
he could have been going to the beach, but instead he shot like a 70 that day or something.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun.
It was,
nice to
yeah, it's nice to change it up. It was nice to see.
It is. Like, golf obviously exploded a lot during the pandemic, which is interesting that you got kind of kicked
Aligned.
off during that time, because you kind of rode that momentum. I've been playing golf for a long time, and I love the game growing, but selfishly, I'm kind of like, I wouldn't mind some of these people picking up like pickleball instead of golf, because that's also,
Free times for
yeah, exactly. But thankfully, that's not going to be an issue at the
Yeah.
club that I'm about to join you at. Um, but kind of going back to some of the things that have inspired you, like along the way, are there particular artists or types of art that you see that kind of inspire some of the work that you've been able to develop now, or even stuff that is like planting seeds for what you want to do in the future?
Yeah. Honestly, I just love being able to look at all sorts of different types of art. I feel like now, as someone who practices art, like, in my daily life, I'm watercoloring every day. I'm way more appreciative of seeing any sort of fine art piece, whether it's abstract or still life or whatever it may be. I just feel like I am always wanting to learn and develop my skill, especially because I don't have like a long history as an artist and a huge background in art. I love getting to watch people practice their art, and whether it's someone live painting or even just like on Instagram, people are posting so many videos nowadays where they're showing kind of like all the parts of till they get to their final painting
Right.
and stuff like that. And I really enjoy watching those as an artist, and I do think that even non-artists enjoy watching those too because
Yeah.
it's just cool. But I'm always looking to learn and kind of develop my skill. So really any chance that I get, I'm always watching videos on how to improve my watercolor skills.
It's awesome.
The behind the scenes stuff is definitely a growing trend,
Yeah.
because people want to see like the authentic
Yes.
version of what is getting created,
Yeah.
which I think just speaks to, we have so much technology that is introduced in all of our lives now, which in a lot of ways is great, but people still at the root, they're searching for authenticity. And I think when I first started following you personally, I was like, wow, this is like really unique. This is somebody who puts a lot of thought into designing these things, and it's just a cool piece that you could hang wherever, right?
Thank you.
And that's kind of what like drew me to it,
Yeah.
even though I wouldn't like consider myself like that much of like an artistic person,
Yeah.
but I guess in a way, in certain ways I am. So we were doing some research and prep for this podcast. There's a couple things. So we are a golf history podcast mainly. Does the name Lee Wybransky come to mind to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Huge
So
inspiration.
yeah. So tell me, I guess a little bit about that, and then we can.
Yeah, so he basically makes artwork for every PGA Tour tournament, as well as a lot of LPGA and other events. I guess he's commissioned by each event to kind of make a custom piece that is kind of the print of that tournament, and then it iterates every year into a new version. So they'll sell it at the tournaments, or he'll live paint at tournaments, which is really cool. I think that it's inspirational, because he's really gotten his foot in the door. He's like the epitome of, kind of what a golf artist is looking at. And then B, I think working with the tour and working with tournament leaders is such a great accomplishment. It's not an easy thing to do. And I think the fact that he's just the name that is always rotating, and doing stuff with different tournaments and different clubs is very inspirational for me. Would love to be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, to be honest, I've not even heard of him until I started just doing some research and prep for this conversation. But came to find out that he studied art history at Syracuse, and then he founded his own studio back in the 90s, so 1995, and he just started with like pen and ink, more like estate drawings, and then shifted more towards golf, which I thought was pretty unique.
Yeah.
In his early work, he was also commissioned by clubs like Winged Foot and National Golf Links to basically create logos and yardage books and artwork for clubhouses.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're on a similar trajectory here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and you've got some.
FYI.
I mean, Lee had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's very
true.
It's true.
You're not going to get there if you don't get started. So
That is very true. He is extremely talented.
yeah, but then like a lot of the stuff that he does with like major championships and signature events and things like that, really really cool. And he just like has this. I was looking at some of his work last night, and it's just very just bold, clean lines and all the watercolor washes, modern takes on kind of vintage posters and work like that, which I definitely love the vintage vibe, but with more of like the modern filter
Yeah.
brought through it, it's like how our entire house is decorated.
I love that.
Yeah, so it works well, but I guess outside of Lee, are there any other people, like if you were to have a Mount Rushmore of people that have inspired you or influenced you in a way,
Yeah.
is there anybody else that comes to
Comes to
mind?
mind. Yeah, honestly, there's so many people that inspire me. On the spot, I'll have to think of a couple. So there's another artist. There's actually two other artists in Austin that I've connected with and are great like inspiration for me. And just great people to get to talk to, and someone who's, running an art business. One of them is Rachel Drake. She has a fine art studio, but also a separate like kind of account for her
Really?
golf fine art, and it is beautiful. She uses a few different mediums to create her art, and a lot of them are more like single hole artwork.
Okay.
And a little bit more abstract. I mean, you can absolutely tell that it's a golf course, it's just really beautiful. I'd love to have one of her like pieces in my home one day when I'm not in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
One day I'll buy one from her.
Yeah.
But she's a great inspiration. And then there's another Austin artist. She's not golf related, but her name is Avery Price, and her Instagram name is Coloring ATX, and she just does watercolor as well, which she's another one who I love to just like watch her paint and watch her method. She's very talented, and she paints kind of just all different spots all over Austin, restaurants, buildings, schools, stuff like that. People will commission her to make certain pieces for them. But she's another great one that I've gotten to connect with, which is really fun. And then also just get to follow her journey is it's a great thing for me, because it's also encouraging to watch their success.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. So this might be kind of an ignorant question, but what are the main differences in painting with paint or watercolor?
Yeah, that's a great question. So personally, I really like watercolor because, as I may have hinted at before, I'm not necessarily a perfectionist. But with watercolor, you can kind of throw some water on it and move the paint around again. If something feels a little bit off, it's really easy to wake it back up, is what you would call it, even once it dries, or you can layer it really easily, which works really well for my style as someone who, I'm definitely with that phrase that's like measure twice, cut once.
Yeah.
I measure once, cut twice. Like I'm just gonna figure it out, not like do a whole big long plan. So watercolor is really forgiving in that way. And then another paint type would be acrylic, which is a lot more opaque. I would say less like abstract normally. I mean, there's definitely some abstract acrylic and oil painters, but it's more defined, I would say, than watercolor is. And I don't work with it as much for, those reasons. But there's definitely a difference in all the different types of paint and stuff.
Yeah. Ignorant question on my end. Chase is really more of the resident artist, because he definitely has some artistic ability and has created some pretty cool pieces that he's got in his house.
Really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, feel free to chime in on the paints.
No,
I
I'm
only
good.
know about
You got it.
watercolor.
I haven't painted in years. I definitely need to get back into it. But.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, some of the stuff that Chase has created, which so I've known Chase for 15 years now.
15, 16.
Yeah, right around there. Went to college together.
Nice.
We are in the same fraternity, and uh, we just kind of hit it off. He was my little bro in the fraternity, even though he's older than me. Just want to let the record show. Chase
That's a
is,
whole nother.
even though
That's a whole other story.
I've got some gray in my beard. It doesn't look that way, but Chase is technically older than me. But I never knew that he had this like artistic sort of passion
Yeah.
until like years ago whenever he started doing this, and I thought it was really cool. And I just respect and love somebody who like finds something they're passionate about.
Mhm.
And clearly you found like your niche of like, hey, I like to do this watercolor art in specific for golf courses.
Mhm.
But what I want to know, and this is kind of a selfish question too, how big of pieces can you create?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, if someone asks, I'm like, I'll try.
Yeah.
The biggest I've made is 5 feet wide.
Yeah.
And then I think it was 2.5 or 3 feet tall. I'm 5 feet tall, so I would hold it up and it was the same height as me,
Yeah.
which was fun. And then the biggest I will paint, so I'm painting a mural next
Right.
month, and it is 18 feet long, 10 feet tall, which
Wow.
is exciting, also in acrylic. So lots of things
Yeah.
figuring out
Yeah.
along the way. But yeah, so the biggest I go is, maybe around there. But if someone asked for bigger, I would try. And then I sell 5x7 kind of postcard size prints of all my artwork.
Yeah.
The acrylic will be kind of a new
Yeah.
motion for you.
I've been practicing.
Okay.
I
All
bought
right.
at Lowe's, you can buy like 2x2 feet drywall pieces.
Yeah.
And so, because the mural is going on an indoor wall, I bought these like tiny drywall pieces to practice in my own apartment before I go and do it there, which has been fun.
What's like the main, I mean, because when you go from, smaller scale and something that you can kind of hold in your hands to something that is a massive piece like that, like how do you go about planning that? Like how do you, like, do you sort of sketch it out first on the wall and
Yeah.
then come in and paint over top of that? Like,
Yeah, that's a great question. So in my full-time job, am a graphic designer, and so that definitely helps me in my art business as well, because for something like this, I can map it out in Adobe, make something to scale 18 feet by 10 feet and put my lines map that I painted that I have on my computer. I can blow it up into that kind of size. And then I'm using a projector to project it onto the wall that I'll be painting on, and then using chalk to map it out on the wall.
got it.
So it's
Nice.
a process. I've learned a
gonna be a
lot
process,
along
yeah.
the way,
Yeah.
but I'm really excited to do it.
Did you ever think you were gonna get to this point of, hey, I'm doing these art pieces that I did because my husband worked at a couple golf courses, and I'm running around with my parents to drop off
Yeah.
these things on Christmas Eve, to now like you're getting commissioned to do some bigger work? Like that's gotta be pretty exciting.
If you would have told me, 7 years ago or so, 6 years ago, that I was spending all my free time on painting golf courses, I would have been really confused on what that even means. And I would have said that there's no way. Because I also thought in my earlier kind of watercolor days that I would be making more like greeting cards and stationery and like cute girly things. And so it's fun being in such a specific niche, because I feel like once I find the people that are appreciative of the work that I'm doing, so all the golfers, the feedback that I get is so encouraging. So golfers love their golf, and that's something that I've learned in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I was thinking, after Cody and I spoke yesterday, have you ever thought about painting on different objects? Like, I know for us, like, we love collecting golf balls from different golf courses, right? So like
Cool.
fine brushes, probably with acrylic,
Yeah.
painting a golf course on that,
Well, that's great.
like on a little golf ball,
I
or
didn't
even
try that.
like going and getting, used clubs at a garage sale and just getting the club heads and then painting something on the back of the like, have you ever thought about anything other than just like, 5x5 cars
Yeah.
or
So I've thought about other products. Both of those, no, those are both great ideas. Something that I'm working on right now is ball markers that
okay.
are kind of like round,
Yeah.
colorful with the course map on it. And then I have golf towels that have my
Yeah.
artwork on them. But I'm always open to new ideas. I think scorecards would be fun.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like a used scorecard of like a round that was special or something, having artwork on it and then it's framed.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Oh man, I'll put you to work. I've got,
Yeah.
I've got, yeah, they're all sitting in a shoebox right now. I'm trying to figure out like how do I, like with all the stuff that I like to collect.
Yes.
I like to collect. Chase knows this because every golf course we visit, I get a ball marker, and I always want to get a yardage book.
Oh, okay.
Which yardage books are, they're very like old school. People don't use yardage books because they use stuff like 18 Birdies or the Grant or other apps like that, which is great for convenience. But I want to have something that like I can showcase.
Memorializes the
Right,
round.
right. So I don't know. I might have to commission you for some scorecards that I've got. Speaking of which, so we talked about this a little bit earlier before we went live. In doing some research, we found that back in the day, like early days, 1700s, 1800s, early course maps were very much so a manual process. So before digital or anything was standardized with surveying and things like that with golf courses and layouts, things were often hand drawn. And what was interesting that we found out was that most artists or architects would actually use watercolor.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So
That's a fact.
that's a great little nugget for you. And maybe it is because they knew they didn't have to have like perfection at the first stroke that they were going through things. But they weren't just like functional pieces, they were also decorative, right? And many would hang in clubhouses. So you'll see a lot of this like in St. Andrews and a lot of other courses that just have like rich history. So for you, you've got some work hanging up in a clubhouse here in Austin and Lake Cliff. So I guess tell us a little bit about how did that come about with you having your art in Lake Cliff?
Yeah.
Have you considered or started to reach out to other clubs too to see if that's something they would want to do?
Yeah. So there's a few clubs where I don't even know that they're planning to frame my artwork or that they're affiliated with the club. This has happened a handful of times. And then they'll email me a photo or something and it's like, here it is in our men's locker room. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that's where this is going, but thanks for sending me the photo. And so that's kind of how it went with Lake Cliff. I actually had a friend whose parents were friends with the Lake Cliff people and they connected us. And so they just commissioned me to paint the map of Lake Cliff. And I didn't know they were framing it and putting it in the dining room area. But when Campbell went and played at Lake Cliff for the first time, when he was thinking about joining and everything, he was like, oh, wait. I know that artist.
I recognize that. Yeah.
So it was just like a fun surprise, and that's normally how it goes.
Yeah.
I post on Instagram most days, and I'll usually post like different courses that I've added to my online collection, and I always tag the course, just on the off chance that they see it or whatever it may be. And I get a lot of traction that way. So a lot of times I'll make the connection with whoever the pro shop person is or someone that works for the course, and so that's how I start with having conversation on kind of what they're looking for, because if they respond, they're usually interested in maybe getting a piece or stocking their pro shop or something like that. So Instagram's a huge way that I get connected with people.
Yeah. Well, Chase and I are going to check that out because we're going to be out there next weekend.
Yeah.
So
you'll see it.
we'll have to take a picture.
Yeah,
and,
please do. I also love when someone buys a piece like as a gift for somebody or for themselves and then sends me a picture of where it ends up. I never know, is it going to an office or a living room or wherever? So seeing photos once it's framed and hung somewhere, I always get excited to get that.
Yeah. I love the play on how you mentioned earlier that like you would have never guessed that you would have been like this deep into golf at this point. But I would imagine, just based off what we've talked about, that your husband would probably like to take trips to go play other courses like the Pebble Beaches of the world or St. Andrews.
Yes,
And I have to imagine that would give you a lot of inspiration too.
definitely.
So I don't know, maybe I'm planting the seed for you or for him or both, but I think you guys need to start taking some more trips
Yeah,
so you can, you know,
get some
get some
inspiration. We
inspiration.
have
That's
one
right.
planned. Well, it's a surprise for him, but for October, it's his 30th birthday. I planned a trip to a really cool course, and he's very lucky because
Yeah.
I know what all these courses
Wow.
are, and it's a course that I want to go to also. So
Does he know the trip is happening?
he knows the trip is happening
He
because
doesn't.
he
But he
needs to
doesn't
take the
know what
time off of
course.
work. We doesn't know where we're going.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, whenever
Wow.
we get offline, I'm
Oh
definitely
yeah,
gonna
yeah. I'll
be
tell you the
curious
story.
on where you plan that out. Because Chase and I, we uh we have an Instagram like saved. You know, you can like
Oh
save
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's do all like a
collections.
collaborative
Yeah,
saved. Yeah.
yeah. So we have,
I don't know how many courses are on that list.
like we have a bucket list course, and finally we were talking. I was like, dude, we've got to stop adding to this.
Yeah. Just
Like
making me want to go.
my wife and I did the same thing with like restaurants to eat in
Yeah.
Austin and everything else. It's like, okay, let's just establish a rule that we can't add anything else to the
Till we
list
remove
until we remove something. Because we probably have 50, 60 courses in there.
I don't
It's
know.
like,
I don't know how many we've knocked off.
it's
What's
like,
number one on the list right now?
Depends on who you ask.
for me, it would be Pebble.
Yeah.
Pebble for sure.
Yeah.
Just because that area of the country, it's just
Beautiful.
so beautiful.
Go to the Melbourne store that's out there.
Exactly.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, the Monterey Peninsula is beautiful in and of itself.
Mhm.
Like, it's not just a golf trip.
Right.
It's also like just a fun
Destination.
vacation spot to go. But I'll let Chase answer where he thinks. I mean, Bandon's up there.
Yeah.
He's been to Pinehurst. I haven't been to Pinehurst. Obviously the home of golf. Like, being a golf history nerd.
Yeah, you gotta go to Pinehurst.
Yeah, Pinehurst is up there, but going to St. Andrews
yeah.
has to happen.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate to play some other courses in Scotland whenever I was younger.
Okay.
Went to go compete over there and played a course called Royal Aberdeen,
Nice.
and it's the sixth oldest course
Uh-huh.
in the world. And you can really feel the history.
Definitely.
When you go out there, you're like, this place hasn't changed
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like you're taking a step back in time. And also just the architecture out there, it's just incredible.
Oh my gosh,
So,
yeah. At St. Andrews, seeing the bridge and everything
Mhm.
there would just be amazing.
yeah, we played this one course too called Carnegie at Skibo Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're playing with the last 3 holes, the last 2 or 3 holes, you kind of revolve around this lake.
Okay.
And off in the distance, you see this massive castle.
That's cool.
So it's like super cool. It's like that
Right.
castle's been there for who knows how many years. And like Madonna got married in that castle. So it was like a big deal.
Yeah, so different than the US too.
So
which is
different.
really cool.
So different. Because it's like, the US is what, like 250, 300 years old?
Yeah.
So you look at those pieces of architecture and it's like, those are thousands of years old.
Yep.
And I really like how they featured it. That would honestly be a cool one for you
Yeah, I haven't painted that one.
to check out. But I think you really need to go in person just so
I
you really
do too.
so you feel the vibe.
We're gonna continue.
I'm gonna keep pushing that,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
your husband is
Campbell, if you're listening.
yeah, he's either gonna be like,
Yes,
yes,
man.
like fuck yeah, keep going, or he's gonna be like, yo, we gotta
Calm down, guys.
stay within like a budget here.
For the record, he's in England right now playing golf.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Well, let's just keep laying it on.
Yeah, there we go. But I don't know, Chase, what do you think of all of our bucket list
My top
courses?
two are Pebble and Bandon for sure.
Yeah,
Now that I've knocked off
That's a good top two.
Pinehurst, those are top two for me.
Yeah, the Bandon developers are doing some new courses too.
I did see that somewhere in Texas. Right?
Yeah, East Texas.
Okay, yeah.
So it's something Pines.
Mm-hmm. It's called.
Something Pines in East Texas. I know it's happening because
Yeah.
I remember Chase and I were going down rabbit holes like, hey, let's like buy some property
Yeah,
in like that
let's-
county and just like put up some like
Definitely.
storage container Airbnbs and
Yeah.
whatever, right? But they also have rodeo dunes outside of
rodeo
Denver.
dunes, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
over
okay,
by the
yeah.
airport. So they're developing a lot of courses.
Yeah.
So that'll be a
Which
fun one too.
will do well for them and hopefully free
Yeah.
up some time at Bandon if they
Yeah.
have other places for people to go.
For sure.
Well, if anything, I think it's just going to make all of them.
Yeah, true.
I'm sure they're all on a wait list right
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah, I think Bandon you have to book it so far in advance
Really?
to go.
I can imagine.
I think it depends on your group.
Yeah.
Specifically too. If you've got a bigger group,
Right.
then you have to book out like 18 months in advance.
Which is just crazy.
But I do know, at least from some buddies that have played, if you have like 2 people, it's a lot easier because you can just like call like the days and weeks before and be like, hey, has anybody canceled?
Oh, that's good.
And try to like get tee times that way, but you're kind of rolling the dice.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
and I know for us, we would want to experience the full.
Right. You
and
want
we
if
can
you're gonna
stay on
go,
the
you're gonna do
property.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
With like-minded individuals.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
people who appreciate it
Yeah.
too.
So
Exactly.
Bandon for Chase, Pebble for me,
Yeah.
both West Coast.
Yeah.
But there's so many good golf courses all over the country, and don't get me wrong, like I want to play a lot of courses internationally, but there are a lot here in the States.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
Michigan, what I've learned is Michigan actually has more golf courses per capita than any state in the country,
Really?
which is kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Because they're probably shut down for, I don't know, 3-4 months out of the year.
Right.
But yeah, Michigan is a hot spot. Wisconsin is a hot spot. So those are definitely some ones.
Yeah.
Even like Missouri, Paynes Valley.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
But
The list goes on and on, really.
I know.
So many places to
I'm
visit.
telling you, our bucket list on Instagram is
crazy.
insane.
It's
Yeah.
out of control.
Yeah, if there's any like golf course or like golf trip plannings, which I know there are, there's a few that I've seen like golf trips by Ty and bucket list golf
Oh,
trips,
yeah.
all these other ones. Like, yeah, they pretty much anything they post
Yeah.
goes on our
Straight
list.
to the
Yeah, yeah. So when you think about some of the favorite projects that you've
Mhm.
done, like what are some of the ones that now looking back you're like, man, I'm like really proud of
Yeah.
that project that I was able to complete.
So I have one that comes to mind. December of 2023, someone from Tom Fazio's office
No
out
way.
and commissioned his first course, Jupiter Hills in Florida. I think that's Jupiter Hills. I might get that wrong. And it's hanging in their office.
Wow.
That is so cool.
Yeah. I was so excited whenever the person reached out. And it's like certain people I tell, they're like, who's Tom Fazio?
Yeah.
And certain people I tell are like, oh my gosh, that's crazy,
Yeah.
whatever.
He's like one of the goats of
Totally.
golf course architects.
Yeah.
That's like a big deal.
I was super excited. So that was like an honor that they were even thought to reach out to me and ask for that. So that's for sure the project that comes to mind when you ask that question. But
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that.
That's huge.
Was like, did they send you an email? Did they call you?
So I sell at markets a lot during the holiday season. I'll do pop-ups and different things to sell prints. And I met someone at a market in Austin whose son's friend works in the office with Tom Fazio, in his office, like his architecture office. And so her son, I guess, made the connection for us. And so the friend is the one that texted me and reached out.
That's super cool.
It was really
It's probably one of those texts that's like, wait, is this real?
I know,
Like,
like it's a spam.
Am I getting duped right now? But
Yeah.
that's super cool. And Austin is, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people don't realize, but there's a lot of activity that happens in
Definitely.
Austin, especially like live music, art,
Mhm.
comedy now. Like
Yep.
Austin is a hub for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's always something to do.
For sure. And plus he has a lot of courses in Texas that he's
Yeah.
constructed. So
Yeah, really fun.
we were talking a little bit just a second ago whenever we were taking a break. I want to shamelessly mention John Millman with
Oh,
Golf
yeah.
Life Metals. So remember Ally was talking about how ball markers and getting into that world is something that's of interest. And I was like, well, we actually had a guest, John Millman.
Yeah,
Golf
great guy.
Life Metals. Absolute character. We freaking love you, John. Shout out. I hope you tear it up at the Ryder Cup. But he would be somebody that's cool to
Yeah.
get connected with and
Yeah.
just kind of see his process, depending on how you would design your stuff, because he does a lot of like stamps and then he'll paint inside of it.
That's artisan. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. He I don't know. I think he's like in investment banking or finance
Cool.
something.
I never got around to asking. I
I
don't know.
think he is. He didn't really talk about it too much, but it was like he has a day job, but
Mhm.
this is what he does.
Yeah.
And now he's like boys with Rory's Caddy and Darren Clark and
Good place to
Rich
be.
Beam and all these other guys. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
we talked about some of your favorite projects or your favorite project with Tom Fazio, which I mean that's kind of hard to top. But when you think of bucket list
Hmm.
projects, like here's a course or here's a project that I would just like love to get commissioned for and be able to do some work with.
Yeah.
What comes to mind with that?
Yeah, definitely am wanting to get more into live painting, whether that's like in a tournament setting or for a country club's, member guest tournament or some sort of event that they're having. I have done it once this year, which was really fun. It was another one of those things where someone reached out just saying, "Could you live paint at our event?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Of course.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So I went and did it, and it was so much fun. I think something that happens a lot with my business is I don't have a ton of customer interaction, not a lot of FaceTime with people. And so just to be somewhere and get to talk to people while I'm doing the painting was so much fun. And it was more of like a still life painting. I was literally looking out onto the course and painting the view there, plus a few other things we added into the painting. So it was also just fun to shake it up a little bit, kind of what golf centric thing I am painting. It wasn't just a map.
Yeah.
So I would love to do more stuff like that.
Was that stressful at all, knowing that it was live and
The painting part wasn't stressful. It was more like the preparation.
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to live paint?
Yeah.
What items should I bring?
Yeah.
So bought an easel on Facebook Marketplace, brought it with me
Yeah.
to the club, and then the painting part was great. Yeah. It was
Do you feel like you kind of get into your zone once you start
definitely,
painting and like
yeah.
everything kind of tunes out?
Yeah, and I had kind of started the painting, like the outline skeleton of it before I got to the event. So it was really just like go after that. I
Right.
could just do the part that I'm good at, not
Yeah.
all the lead up. So it was great. Good setup.
Well, now you're giving me an idea because we are thinking about, and it's going to happen at Lake Cliff
Okay.
because we're about to join out there. I'm about to join out there.
And I'm
Virtue
going to be
Chase is
joining through you.
Guess number one.
Yeah, he's going to be using all of the guest rounds.
Love it.
But we were talking about doing a For The Ages like invitational tournament
Amazing.
for sometime next year as basically just an excuse to like
Yeah.
get people together
Yeah.
and play around of golf. So I'm thinking that we'll have to have you come out and
We'll
do
get you
some live
touched.
painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be a lot of fun.
Love it.
I am curious now that you're getting into golf.
Mhm.
Been playing a little bit. You've obviously visited a lot of courses. Is there a course that you've visited or played that is your favorite? And have you also painted that course?
Yes. Gosh, so many. I fortunately have been to a good amount of courses on trips over the past 5 years, which is fun. Even though I wasn't golfing that whole time. But Campbell and I spent 7 weeks in New Zealand at the beginning of last year when it was their summertime. So I painted pretty much all of the courses that we went to while we were there. My favorite one is called Cape Kidnappers. It's on the North Island in New Zealand, and it's beautiful. It's on the water. The color of the water is amazing. So it's probably my favorite one that I have both visited and painted, and I would love to go back.
Cape Kidnapper. I'll have to look into that one.
So are
It's
you
special.
more of a coastal vibe person?
Just generally, yeah.
Generally, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
Rather than mountains.
Yeah,
or,
like
I mean,
it's-
yeah, definitely
yeah.
more coastal vibe.
Have you guys taken a Scottsdale trip yet?
No, I've only been to Scottsdale one time, and it was for hiking. So
Okay.
I need to go back on it.
Yeah, Scottsdale is a great destination. I mean,
Yeah.
golf courses galore,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
and it's I'm actually headed there in a few weeks,
Fun.
so I'm excited to play. I'm actually going to Denver first for work.
Nice.
Gonna play out there, and then fly down to Phoenix
Okay,
after
cool.
that. But the desert golf with the mountains, it's just different.
Different.
Like I grew up as like a beach family. My mom's like
Mhm.
huge beach person. She grew up in Florida. I kind of get bored at the beach personally
Yeah.
because like there's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
But I've come to like fall in love with the mountains.
Yeah.
So when I compare like mountains and golf together,
It's a
it's just
perfect.
crazy how you have literally desert and then a perfectly green,
Yeah.
lush
Not to
golf
mention, it's just
course.
like, say you take a video of your swing or something, it's just so picturesque.
Right,
So having that mountain in the
right.
background, it's nice.
Plus, I guess selfishly, the coastal courses tend to be a little bit windier.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Yeah.
you know,
Try to avoid
More
that.
lost
if you're
balls.
trying to, yeah, if you're
Yeah.
trying to score better, maybe avoid the wind a little bit more. But,
Fair.
um, so I guess for you, when you look at your bucket list of like courses that you want to go to next, have you
Mhm.
put any thought into,
Yeah.
like we talked about Pebble Beach earlier?
Yeah.
That would be a really
That's
fun
definitely on my list for sure. I'd
to
love to go
paint.
to Pebble Beach,
Yeah.
Cypress Point. You know, if someone can get me there, that'd be
Yes.
awesome.
Let's go. We
If
got to get
anyone
out
knows
there.
anyone,
Yeah.
I would love to go to Bethpage just because I feel like it's another bucket list spot.
Right.
Obviously, with the Ryder Cup happening too, I'm just seeing it a lot. They have a lot of great content out right now where it just makes it look so beautiful, and so would love to go. But you know, then have to spend the night in my car in order to
Yeah.
go on the Bethpage Black. So
Yeah.
it's gonna take some preparation.
Chase almost did
I
that.
did a lot of research. I had a business trip going to New York, and I was actually gonna try to link up with
With John, yeah.
John, the guy that does Golf Life Medals.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then there was just changes and meetings that I had with work and flights and stuff, so I was unable to pull it off. But we have a group of friends that are here from New York, so they gave me the entire lowdown of when you need to book a tee time, what time you're getting there, if you're
Yeah.
going by yourself, when to show up, etc.
Okay, good intel.
It's kind of chaotic.
It sounds like it. I did some research trying to figure out if we could make it happen. So that's not where we're going for Campbell's surprise trip.
All
I
right.
tried, and obviously it's like really close to the Ryder Cup too,
Right,
so
yeah.
it was hard. But just like getting the tea time without spending the night, you know, the day before, it's really hard.
It's
It
possible,
Yeah.
but it's tough.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point, it's probably best to wait till like 2027
Yeah.
to play Bethpage. Just
Let
so
the
that, like,
hype die
yeah, let the
down.
hype die down a little bit.
Yeah.
The Ryder Cup's there, and I'm sure 2026 is already booked out
Yeah.
because of all the hype around it. But yeah, that's definitely a course. We got to get up to Long Island to
Mm-hmm.
link up with John.
Yeah.
He may have the inside scoop too,
That's
He
the
That's
is
true.
hookups.
he's the guy.
Because I
Yeah.
think he said he was like 5 minutes from the
Yeah,
course.
It's his backyard.
So,
nice,
you know,
nice backyard.
yeah. So what's next for you? What are some of the other projects? You know, obviously have the mural
Mural,
that
yeah.
you're doing. That's going to be a fun project and
Yes.
challenge.
Yes, time commitment for sure.
Yeah.
And then kind of the last quarter of the year is always the busiest time for me. My two waves throughout the year are Father's Day and Christmas. Those are
see
definitely
that.
the
Yeah.
two busiest times. And so it's more so just preparing for the holiday. Like my first holiday pop-up market is in September, which is kind of crazy. It feels early for Christmas, but it happens every year at the same week in September, and it's a big market. So it's kind of just buckling down and doing a lot of it's a lot more customer based kind of work in the last quarter rather than working with courses kind of past the member guest season and stuff like that. So
when a customer reaches out to you to do a project, like what is the typical process of that? Are they like, "Hey, I want to do something for my dad for Father's Day. This is a course that he loves."
yeah.
And then you just start to do some research on that.
Yeah, pretty much. So on my website, I have links because I also sell original artwork. If you don't want to print up the course, if you want
Okay.
the original watercolor, I can paint an original. Or if the course you want isn't on my website, there's like a custom order form where you can just put in the name of the course. I have in my shop, I have about 500 that I've done that are prints right now. But there's always the one, you know, that I don't have
Yeah.
that people are looking for. So I would say custom wise, new courses, I paint this time of year, like right before the holiday, I'm painting probably 2 or 3 new ones a week. And then when it gets to October, I'm painting 10 plus new ones a week, kind of
Okay.
depending on the demand. But
Yeah.
it depends on the time of year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of golf courses
Yeah.
out there.
I have a feeling you might have an order coming from one or both of us that is a gift to ourselves.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just basically buy my own Christmas gift
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
wrap it, put it in the tree.
I'll buy it for you. You buy it for me.
There you go. That's the way to do it. And then I have the perfect gift for, the wives or the gals or the moms who don't know what course to get. I always make a calendar around the holidays that is for the following year, and it follows the PGA Tour schedule. So
wow.
January it'll have Pebble Beach or Torrey Pines, Pebble Beach, whatever. It goes throughout the year, kind of whatever the biggest tournament is of that month. I have that map for it. So
That's cool.
it's a good direction to point people when they're like, I know so and so loves golf, but which course should I get them?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know, but
Right.
have a 12.
I can't answer that for you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
fun.
really cool. So what other things, I guess, we talked a little bit about, ball markers, the calendars have become a thing. Like what else, I guess, is sort of inspiring you creatively that you're thinking through?
Yeah. As I mentioned before, during the day am more of a graphic designer than like a watercolor artist. And I would love to do more like variation to my course maps, whether it's more of like a digital rendering, an outline, or kind of like on a golf towel. I have my watercolors printed on golf towels now, but if I want to do like an embroidered golf towel where it's just like the outline of the course or something like that. So I've definitely been working on trying to get more, I don't even know like what I would call the style right now, other than more like kind of graphic design centric rather than paintings that I scan. And then turning that into different types of products. I have a sample coming in of like short, drink glasses, what are those called? Like low ball glasses or something. Where the course is etched into the glass. So it's not like the artwork printed, but it's like the outline of all the holes and stuff kind of around the glass. So I definitely have some things I'm working on trying to move into, but it's a work in progress for sure whenever it's on the side.
What about the apparel side? So I guess, what does that look like for you? Is that you just going and designing these things yourself to create graphic tees or maybe some polos or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I've gotten a few samples actually of just like different types of shirts and stuff to print on, but I definitely want it to be done right, not just like the cheapest one I can find or whatever that may be. So that's been a longer process in kind of figuring that out. And then also depending on how the shirts are priced and stuff like that, there's so many courses that it's hard to even decide like, okay, if I want to do the shirts, what course should I even start printing on it? Because you can't necessarily drop ship every single product. And then when there's 500 people to choose from, it's like, it's a whole process kind of trying to figure out the custom versus what's going to be the most popular course. But prints wise, I kind of have it down to what are the most ordered ones. That's usually what I'll get samples and stuff of. So it's always it's a work in progress for sure.
Well, Peter Millar always makes good stuff. Selfishly, that's like 90% of my closet. So if you ever printed anything on a
Peter Millar polo,
and you can get them for a decent
the blanks.
Decent price,
yeah.
And just like a white polo, and then you just
with the little something on there.
Have at it, yeah. Have at it.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea actually.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Chase, you have any other top of mind questions?
No, I'm good on mine. I covered everything I had.
So something we ask all of our guests, and now that you play golf too, this is going to be applicable for you too. What is the favorite golf course, your favorite course you've played to date?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I would say, honestly, because like we were kind of talking about earlier, it's like you have certain memories of different courses and where you've been and stuff. And the first full round I ever played was at Horseshoe Bay.
Oh wow, yeah,
And
okay.
I had no idea what I was doing, but I kind of just was like, sure, I'll go out there and play and whatever. And I remember thinking, like, this is taking so long. We've been out here for so long. And I think that just has to do also with the more that you're out there, the more obviously like accustomed you come to the time, and then it flies by.
Right.
I was actually saying to Campbell recently, we were at Lake Cliff, and we were on maybe like 15 or something. And I was like, it's crazy how much faster it goes by whenever I'm actually playing and like doing well and like thinking about my game and thinking about improving, or, last time I played, I did this time I'm going to do this. And so it makes it go by a lot faster. But I kind of deviated. But anyway, my favorite round is probably that first one, just because I was like, what the frick am I doing?
Yeah. It is interesting because when you're like, it's probably similar to whenever you're really getting in the zone, creating the art that you're creating. Like you don't necessarily know how much time flies by. And
Right.
if I had to guess, I'd probably say there were a few times where Campbell's probably come out and been like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like,
how are you still doing
it's
this?
midnight. Yeah, you've been working on this for hours."
Yeah.
Same thing. I think like when we all get in the zone.
Speak for yourself, brother. Be very careful with what you're about to say.
When you get in the zone on the golf course, it is like time doesn't necessarily like exist without sounding like too cliche. But
until you get the text asking, "Is your round taking 6 hours?"
No, I was just about to say that. Until you're on the other side of it and you're like, what is taking so long?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so final question for you then.
Okay.
Course, your favorite course, or let me back up. The last question for you would be, what course have you not played yet that's kind of like highest on your bucket list?
Well, I'll tell you what's high on my bucket list with the caveat that I need to improve my game before I go spend a bunch of money at one of these courses. But I would love to play the ocean course.
Okay.
On the same subject of I love the water and being on the coast. Campbell's a big coast guy too. We're both from Houston originally. Spent a lot of time in Galveston, so kind of veer that way mostly. I would love to go to Kiowa. I love that area. I'd love to play. It is a penny to play there, obviously. So I would need to continue my lessons for a little while before I go out there.
That would be an epic place to go to.
Oh my gosh. And it would just be a great trip, kind of like what you're saying about Pebble. Going there is also a lot more than just playing at Kiowa. But that would be a huge part of it for sure.
Yeah. I just kind of pulled this one out of my ass. Final question for you would be, if you could travel back in time to any point for golf, and I guess let's keep it like specific to your artistic passion, right? Like what time period would you like to travel back to and sort of create a watercolor at that point in time?
Honestly, what you were saying when they first started making the course maps, I'm like, I wish I would have been there for the, originating the map at St. Andrews or originating the map at Pinehurst or Pebble. That would be a great time to be around less saturated market, less like, there's, as y'all know from having a business too, there's so many bells and whistles that are outside of the craft that you actually want to focus on. It's like, I need to spend time on Facebook ads. I need to make content for Instagram. Do I want to upload this to TikTok as well? I want to answer my emails. And I just feel like maybe back in that time, there was a little less noise. You just got to like enjoy the golf, but also enjoy your craft, which for me is watercolor. So selfishly, I would like to have a little less of the outside things going on, wherever that may be.
I feel you there.
It was all word of mouth back then too.
Yeah.
We had
well, you also had to be like the upper class, like the elite, to be able to play golf.
Yeah.
Because everybody else was working nonstop.
Yeah.
Just put food on the table. So if you had the luxury of playing golf, then
you're doing pretty well at that point. That is
so
very true.
hopefully if you're also then drawing the courses and doing all that, then
Yeah.
hopefully you're in that same class. But
Yeah.
Allie, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having me. It's been
Where can
fun.
people find you? Instagram, TikTok, what
Yes.
your handles, all that?
Ally Aiken Design, which is ALLYAIKEN Design. That's on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can find me there, DM me. I'm always trying to answer, and email, all that. So contact me. Happy to paint a new course for anyone. Or check out my website. There are 500 to choose from, with more coming all the time. So the odds are it could be there already.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let me know.
Cool. Well, hopefully we'll get you nice and busy for the holiday season.
Yeah,
But
thank you.
yeah, thanks so much for joining.
I appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank
for
y'all for
coming on.
having me.
Yeah, you
Of
bet.
course.
Woohoo.